Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's episode of InvoTalks, and I'm your host, Pramil. Today, we're excited to bring you another partner success story featuring EasyFill, an AI-assisted online fillable form generator. Joining us to discuss this innovative product is founder and CEO of EasyFill, David Smith. Hi, David. Welcome to today's episode.
How are you?
Perfect. So, David, let's just get started. You belong to a family of entrepreneurs. You have always been an entrepreneur from a very young age. So walk us through the journey, how you got into childcare services.
Okay, so yeah, originally my father actually he's on many childcare centers over the years. Pretty much since I could walk, I was always helping him around the centers, around the facilities. So I kind of grew up with that background. My family has oh gosh, over a dozen childcare centers over the years. I've owned two, and my sister owns one as well. So it's kind of a family trade, right?
Right.
So we've been doing it a very long time.
Yeah, and it was actually through childcare services that you got onto the tech side of the things. So a great product idea often emerges from recognizing and addressing a specific challenge. While working with childcare centers, you recognize that this industry was significantly underserved in terms of an effective software to help manage daily tasks. So how did this idea take shape of developing EasyFill as a product?
For sure, yeah. So I kind of I've been doing childcare a long time. I did kind of pivot from the actual operations side of things because it is a kind of a high stress group. Having to deal with children all day, and have much respect for everybody that does that. But yeah, so I took a kind of a pivot from that, and I've moved to services. And what I realized pretty quickly was that there are very few services provided to childcare centers, especially when it comes to optimization, when it comes to management, when it comes to making the office workflows and stuff go well. So I came up with the idea of creating EasyFill. And EasyFill, what that does is it converts PDF documents to all unfillables. And then it also has an AI generation component that will basically generate forms on the fly. So we use that to save time. Definitely the use cases there as far as we've done quite a few tests inside childcare centers, and what we saw was that we had a lot of increased productivity. We saw a lot less time spent on, collecting paperwork and more time, interacting in the center and in the childcare classrooms and things like that. So it turned out to be a success for sure. And since then, we've expanded. We've been starting to grow. We've added feature sets, and still doing a lot of testing, still doing a lot of growing and learning more information. But definitely was beneficial to them.
Right. Of course, there is a lot of competitive edge. You mentioned that customers can now create forms in less than a minute. A task that previously took 10 minutes can now be completed in less than a minute. Again, we understand that EasyFill is not limited to a specific industry, and we would be discussing other industry verticals as well. Given that EasyFill was initially designed specifically for childcare services, so how are these centers now leveraging the platform to improve their operations?
Definitely more or less, it enables them to spend more time doing the things they actually should be doing, right? So, we spend a lot of time, especially in childcare, with keeping paperwork in order. And the reason for that is, we have state requirements. Each state is different. It's about what they require, what they expect you to have. Certain forms have to be on a specific paperwork. It has to be done a specific way. And what EasyFill allowed them to do is, reduce that time managing that, obviously, and also organizing, because, you're able to keep it all in the cloud. You're able to print it when you need it. And you're able to keep those documents and stuff in order. And that's especially in the smaller, centers, maybe kind of an owner operator situation. Keeping organized and still running a center of say 100, 150 children, my goodness, it can be a challenge. So it definitely helped that component of it, and definitely the ability to, say if they needed to do a field trip form or a survey form or something like that, and then, never have the time to do so. The ability to generate quickly, to create something quickly on the fly is a huge benefit just because you're not spending, that 15 or 20 minutes that you didn't have otherwise to do it.
Right.
So that was maybe the two major benefits of that.
Absolutely. And forms are everywhere, large packets of forms. And so let's discuss how other industries can leverage EasyFill. Maybe you can walk us through use case for each industry, maybe hospitals, real estate, or lawyers.
Most definitely. So I mean, just the other day I was in there getting my kids teeth cleaned at the dentist, and it's one of those things. When you get handed a packet of forms, first of all, it slows everybody down. It's not just you; it's about the other dozen people inside the same waiting room as you, filling out forms. And if that's something that could have been done in advance, or if that's something that could have been done quicker, then of course there's a huge use case. There's a huge benefit to that. Because that more time is money, and also, your clients and customers' times are valuable as well. So, we definitely, that would probably the biggest benefit is just, simply saving time. You could see a lot of that. Of course, there is certain restrictions, HIPAA and certain, things we want to make sure that we're, able to cover security wise and, in compliance with that. So we definitely cater to that. And then obviously, we just want to, obviously, save people time. So it definitely covers that, especially in the healthcare space, because they do have a lot of expectations as far as that as well. For another example would be real estate,
Hmm.
most definitely real estate. So well, let's kind of see the idea, right? So if you have a client looking for a specific type of home, and you set up a form, catering to maybe someone's looking for a townhome or someone's looking for a single family home, you can design individual forms to collect that information. And then the idea would be is, we use that information to, provide them an email that, we give them the resources that they are needing. So it's easy to generate. And then in the future, we hope to be able to use workflows and be able to use AI-driven decisions to
Mhm.
actually guide them to decisions without necessarily requiring, say, the real estate agent or requiring the person, the owner of the business to actually find those
Mhm.
resources. It actually will drive them to that direction without the required, people doing it themselves.
Yeah, and I can see how EasyFill is going to make lives much easier because my toxic trait is I always sign up for initiatives, but I'm very bad at filling forms. That's my toxic trait. With InvoZone as your tech partner, you just mentioned that you've integrated AI for form generation and data-driven decision making. How do you envision AI reshaping routine tasks and enhancing operational efficiency for your clients? Are there like specific areas where you expect AI to make the most significant impact?
That's a loaded question, I would say, because there's so many benefits to AI, right? On the front end, of course, we're using it to, make forms faster. We're using it, we hope to, be able to convert, paper forms easier. But then obviously a lot of that goes down to, well, what do you do after that? It's easy, everybody uses forms. It's easy to, to fill one out, people to do it every day.
Hmm.
But what happens after that? Really, what our ultimate goal would be is to make those forms easier, but then also reduce the time drastically that it takes to, get a result. So
Hmm.
that means those data-driven decisions. That means the analysis of what those responses are, and then in future we hope to even be able to predict, maybe the outcome of a customer's, inquiry. So like we already know, someone's looking for this specific item, they have these particular questions. So based on that, maybe they're asking about price, maybe they're asking about certain components of it. We could be able to analyze that information and say, okay, this one has a probability of converting based on that information.
Right,
So that will obviously save us time and also resources as well, because you know who to focus your energy on, your time on, who will convert, who won't convert. So
right.
that in the future casting of it all, that's what we want to do with it for sure. And there's a lot of other use cases for AI, right? There's so many things, and it's almost overwhelming. I'm very intrigued by everything that's out there.
Right.
But for me, I'm trying to stay focused in this particular area first. So hopefully I can make a difference. But then obviously, there's much more out
Absolutely.
there to, yeah.
Yeah, so actually, so predictive analysis was actually my next topic, but you've already covered that. So we understand that EasyFill is at a point where you already have a product and you are looking to scale it, and you're planning to scale it into different avenues. As a tech startup, you decided to outsource your product engineering, and finding the right partner is very crucial. So what led you to choose InvoZone?
Sure, I've obviously, interacted with a lot of other companies over the years. This isn't my first development project, and but definitely probably the smoothest since we've made, that conversion over to you guys. Um, we got this relationship that is concerned about the big picture.
Hmm.
Whereas, a lot of companies out there, you might see them not so concerned about that. They're just concerned about the scope of work in front of them. Um, so the communication's there, the big vision is there as far as, understanding where we want to go, getting the proper input, timely input. I think that's super important. Sometimes you can start a project and then, you're waiting a week and a half without any communication. And that's not reasonable or effective, in my opinion, for both sides. So, I mean, I like the one-on-one communication that we get for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. So we are very communicative. So that's not how we work. We are very, spot on with our communication and timelines and deliveries. So there's also this one misconception that working with outsourced dev teams may feel like hiring mercenaries or third-party contractors, which leads to communication gaps and, lots of other challenges. So how does InvoZone ensure collaboration and integration? Like, have you ever felt that, okay, this is not part of my team, I'm just contracting to a third party?
Oh, not at all. I mean, I've definitely felt a much more genuine concern for my product. Um, you're absolutely right when you say there's a rough divide with some companies that are only concerned about the bottom line, which I get it. The bottom line is always important. But then, when you're looking to please the customer, you want a returning customer, and you want someone that's going to, be proud of their product and broadcast, what you're doing and what, who has done it for us, we want to, be proud of what we're doing. And I see that in you guys. I feel like it's really obvious that, you want a product that results in a good result, results in something, successful. And, when I think that will, that's probably part of how you guys have been so successful in the sense that you guys care about your clients and you care about what the result comes to.
Perfect. Thank you so much for your kind words. And I know you've said a lot of good things about us, but I have one more question. So, like, you're a product owner with a vision, and what you need is the right set of brains to implement that vision, especially from the technical, standpoint. So, how is InvoZone helping you with these initiatives of scaling your product at a very large scale?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, I'd love to say I know everything about everything. I mean, that would be great. Um, and it's easy to come up with an idea, but implementation is probably the most important part of that, right? Because especially when it comes to users, it comes to, a lot of people can relate, right? You can have an idea, you could tell somebody exactly how you want to execute it, and then the user gets on there and tries to interact with it, and they're clueless, or it doesn't work out the way you planned. So obviously having a good CTO, but then also having a great team is extremely important to make sure that, hey, this is the direction you want to go, but
Mhm.
this is how you need to get there. I guess the embedding or the integration of how it should be done. So while I have some great ideas, I'd like to believe so at least.
Right.
Um, it really comes down to I have the ideas, but implementation is so important, and having the right team is what makes that happen.
Perfect. That's amazing. And once again, thank you so much for joining us for today's episode. It has been an amazing conversation. We're all rooting for EasyFill success and hoping to be in touch with you very soon again.
Very happy to be here, and thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.